Hello, welcome to the 1878 FM podcast. Myself, Ped, and Sam this week. Dave is off doing other things. Other the job, basically, but there you go. There you go. No football this weekend, gone, but there is one coming up. But Sam, obviously last week Everton went to Brentford and drew in a game that was quite frustrating because Everton could have and should have won the game. And it was frustrating because it come a few days after Everton should have and would have, could have, and all the others from the United game that we should have done. But I used to love international breaks and breaks when Everton weren't playing. I'd got into that mode very much under Sean Dyche. I couldn't wait till Everton weren't playing football. But I must admit, Saturday was a little bit like, I wouldn't have minded us playing today, even though the squad desperately needed the break. But it's a weird thing, that, isn't it? Coming after that Brentford game, thinking, wouldn't mind us playing again in a couple of days just to get the win from the position where we couldn't wait for Everton not to play football. It's been quite a turnaround.
Yeah, it's like a wave of new emotions, isn't it, for all of us? Like disappointment that, quite a few games recently where we didn't lose because we haven't lost for ages, but we didn't win. We perhaps should have won, could have won, like you said. It's weird, isn't it? It's a weird feeling we haven't had for a long time. And it's that thing about like international breaks. My favourite time as an Everton fan recently, apart from the last 7 games, has been the Qatari World Cup when we didn't play for 4 weeks. I think Lampard was still the boss then, wasn't he?
Was.
And he probably should have gone beforehand. And the club was in turmoil. We were in a right mess on the pitch. And we didn't play for 4 weeks, and it was great because I could watch football every day and enjoy football without thinking about all the terrible stuff, like the baggage that Everton Football Club has given us over the last few years.
Yeah.
And then to go into Saturday, this Saturday just gone with no game. I was like, oh God! I was really like, it felt like that match day ritual that you've got where you just, you're looking forward to the kickoff time, you're counting down. It wasn't there, and obviously the logical part of my brain was like, well, we need a break. We need a rest. The squad's a lot of injuries carrying, and also we look tired a little bit against Brentford.
Yeah.
But what a weird feeling to look back on the Brentford game and the Man U game and just go, perhaps should have won both games. Perhaps could have won both games. And then the other weird emotion that comes alongside that, or just after it, like a chaser, is like, doesn't really matter, does it? Which is, again, that's weird. That's a weird emotion to have. And quite nice, although I am really, really keen for us to get back to it and get back climbing up that table and thinking about the prize money that comes with each position that we can get up the league and just putting the club into the best possible position to be able to recruit the players that we want for next season, to say, look, we're comfortably mid-table here. We're not messing about with relegation at all. So come and play for the mighty Blues. But yeah, it's a weird feeling. I'm looking forward to the weekend to just getting back on the pitch. I
mean, Ped, it was... Obviously, we hadn't spoke after the Brentford game or anything, but so frustrating in a way, wasn't it? That the United game had gone the way it did. Because if we'd have held on against United like we should, I'd have been... I mean, I was fine anyway with it, like Sam said. It's a totally different feeling now. It is a case of, we could have... But I would have been a lot happier with that point. But the Brentford game just got to the end of it. And even though I was made up, we were still trying to win it in injury time. I was just a little bit like, 2 games on the run that we should have really won.
Yeah, I said that after the match. It could have easily have been an extra 4 points, couldn't it? I know and I suppose that's where we are right now. Like, not like disappointed, just more like that's what we could have got easily. Yeah. And it was weird because the Man United game was. The last 20 minutes cost us, and then the Brentford game was actually the last 20 minutes where we should have won the game. So it was a little bit of a different sort of scenario. But yeah, with probably, certainly for the Man United game, more choices on the bench and being able to control the game a little bit more. And the Brentford game, maybe again having to start the same team, it makes it a little bit tougher for you and give Brentford a little bit of control. But I suppose that's where we are now, and that's, as Sam said there, I did miss the game on the weekend, more so because I didn't do anything myself. I always find if you don't do anything, You know, if you do something when Everton don't play, Everton aren't playing, then you won't miss the match as much. But if you're sitting around doing nothing, then you feel like you should be doing something, and you're like watching the YouTube videos then of Everton train. Oh yes, what a cross, Bainesy! Get back on the pitch, lad. What a cross! And you're like you're looking at everything, aren't you? And you're poring over at all the Everton stuff, and you want that stuff. I always find that's a great time if Everton have made some jokey YouTube videos. Get them out now. Get the pancake videos out now, lads.
Well, they did.
Don't get them. Don't bring them stupid comedy YouTube videos out when we're getting beat. You know, get them out now. Get them all out in a one big box set right now, and let's
got 3 days left, lads. Till we play again.
Let's binge them all right now. Get those lads go-karting with Leon Osman as soon as you can. Get them fishing with Tony Ibbott. Get them doing get them card sharking with Thomas Gravison.
These are great ideas, Pet. These should be written down.
I'm an ideas man. I'm an ideas man. They just come off me.
Doesn't produce them, but he's a great ideas man. He'd be the gold standard.
That's what I mean. They say don't.
You're a dreamer. But it has been good, isn't it? I mean, there's been to think like sort of, you know, when me and you were sat here in January, waiting for the axe to fall, the hammer to fall.
Other tools are available.
No, but we were waiting, weren't we? And it was like the feeling was like we were so low, weren't we? Particularly after the Monday, after that Bournemouth game, when nothing had happened.
Yeah.
And you were like...
That in the game? Are you talking about the game? When nothing had happened?
I'm talking about the decision-making process after the game, because the game was dreadful. But to then, like Sam just said, to sort of sit here 7 weeks later and be like, yeah, we could have won them 2 games, and not be like, oh my God, you know, we're in crisis because we've just blown a 2-goal lead at home. It's been such an incredible turnaround, hasn't it, really, in such a short space of time. For a manager to come in a point ahead of the relegation zone and now to be 15 points clear of it and 15 points from the Champions League place.
Who'd have known that Sean Dyche and David Moyes weren't the same kind of manager?
Well,
who could have told you such things? Who could have told you such things? Paul Mason couldn't.
He has owned up, though, and apologised.
We can all own up and apologise. He's actually got a really good track record of owning up and apologising.
He has to be.
That's a different story. Yeah, listen, it's we're all a little bit chilled out, aren't we? Now we're all chilled out. How Sam said there, you're watching the games, you want us to win, and you just got that. But obviously the stress is pretty much off us now. You know, 15 points clear, looking up, opportunities to win at least 4-5 more games. You know, because that's where you are, and you look at fixtures and you go, "God, win that, can go to Chelsea and get something there. Yeah. Arsenal at home, Man City at home, get something out of them." They're not,
and that's why the FA Cup would because obviously last weekend we weren't playing all the FA Cup games on. I'm sort of keeping half an eye on them, and I'm looking at that, and I'm feeling like a little bit disappointed. And I had to stop that because it was like, well, you know, it didn't work out against Bournemouth, and it's worked out in the league, and that's the most important thing. But there was just a little part of me thinking this is a good year to have a little run in the cup, because the teams that are left in it, probably the best teams, Man City is it, and they don't look particularly, they're beatable, aren't they? So. But it's that end of the season feeling for us where we can climb up the league, but we don't need to be too disappointed if we drop points or even lose games, because we're putting in performances. We're not actually, as much as we are, the same number of points away from Champions League as we are relegation. Is that right, Baz? Is that 15 points?
15 from each,
which is phenomenal, isn't it? But also, we're not really knocking on the door of Europe, so it's not like if we do drop points, it's not going to sabotage next season. But because of the form recently, I've been looking at like next season and thinking I'd love us to get into Europe. Obviously, that's always been something that we want. But now I'm thinking, not because I want to actually go on a European run or even get to the final. Of course, that'd be amazing. Just to watch my team play twice a week, because I love that right now. To watch us play some random European team, you know, in the middle of nowhere. It'd be great down on a Thursday. I'd be made up. So
isn't it mad though that you look and like you seem miles away, don't you? Not like in December, we just seemed miles away from having an opportunity to get in Europe, even though I always have maintained for a number of years this league isn't great, and you can, if you just get organised, you can get yourself into that European battle. And to be now looking and going, we've got a manager who's actually good, which is a weird thing. And if we can add to it, which we will do in the summer, then why can't Everton? I'm not saying Everton will, but why can't Everton just be in that chasing pack? It can be 8th place, so why can't Everton chase that pack?
I think it's just, there's obviously just loads of optimism, isn't there, because of we you know what's happening at the end of the season, going into a new stadium, and obviously Moyes makes me laugh because, you know, every time he talks about the new owners, he keeps on saying the new owners are like coming in, not like they're already here. They point at you, Dave. But it's like, what he's hinting at is saying like the work doesn't actually start till we get over this line and we're safe, because obviously that's what he keeps on saying anyway. He's keeping everyone on the toes, and he's basically saying that the work doesn't actually start, even though the work's happening and we're laying the groundwork. And obviously we now know that Kevin Fell's going to be leaving, and we know we're going to be getting a new CEO at the end of the season. But nothing is actually, apart from him coming into the job, nothing actually else has really changed.
No.
And that's what he's saying is like, beginning next season, we're laying the groundwork right now for that to start happening. And this thing that has been almost overshadowing everything for the last 4 years is about to come to fruition, and you can start enjoying that process now, whereas we obviously couldn't enjoy the process because everything that went with it. And that's when you look at like other clubs and think, well, we're only going to get like one true hit at this in terms of like where you sort of like start again. I mean, it's not 2.0 because it's we're 146 years into nearly 147 years into Everton, so it's not like 2.0, but it is a refresh, and you get an opportunity, whereas other clubs are going to have to go again, but with exactly the same with what they've got. And when you hear of what Newcastle are financially, you know, what they're struggling with what like Villa is struggling with what like Liverpool financially and the wage bill. I know they're 3 teams that have enjoyed Champions League football, and obviously Liverpool have enjoyed more. But when you add to like, they're like up there, and then you add like the Fulhams of the world who were challenging and the other teams who are challenging, they don't get that chance to refresh. This is like when teams come up from the Championship and have all that money, if they really want to spend it, if they want to spend it, they've got that opportunity. I feel like this is that opportunity for us, but it's in the hands of the right person, because it's not in the hands of, you know, that fella who won the lottery and built, you know, the racetrack in his back garden. This is in the hands of like a geography teacher who just wants to go and visit a few nice places, you know, with the money, but he's going to keep he's just going to keep the semi-detached house in Chilwell.
Carl Compton or something, that fella or whatever his name was.
So, you know, this is like we're going to do it sensibly. We're going to have new money, obviously, and people can throw in how much more money we're going to have, and it mightn't be what, you know, these millions and millions of pounds that some people might have expected, but there is going to be new money now, and we've got the right person, haven't we, Sam, to deal with that?
Well, yeah, and it's going to be a lot more money than we've had to spend recently, you know, with all PSR issues, and hopefully, you know, with all the new stadium and all the kind of match day income that brings, just resetting that PSR that we've all been, you know, shackled with over the last few years, and just having that like you say, that man at the helm who knows what the club is, knows what we need, knows what we expect. I mean, that's a huge thing, isn't it? And I know we've talked quite a lot about the things he said in press conferences, and I think he said that thing before Brentford, didn't he? I don't think I've spoken to you about that, but when he said, you know, should Everton be emulating Brentford, and he was like, well, we should be, you know, with disrespect, but we should be going way above Brentford. Yeah. It's like, wow, that was like, I felt like I'd been punched in the face, but with like a really nice glove or something. It was like, it was beautiful. That was just a breath of fresh air. I think Moyes as well, like his recruitment in the past generally has been really sound, but he's also got the ability to make players better, which gives the club the opportunity to bring players in, sell them on if we have to. That's the landscape that the world is in now, you know. So that's, you got to have that kind of idea that might happen or that will happen, and buy players younger, cheaper, and then, you know, sell one of them on or 2 of them on for every batch that you buy. But also bringing players to the club. Players, you know, are surely much more likely to want to play for David Moyes and Sean Dyche, because for not just for the footballing reasons, but for the personal progression reasons as well. So it feels like all this optimism that you mentioned, Ped, it's all been bottled up, hasn't it? and it's been sort of hidden away. And then we've just sort of, the last 7 weeks, we've just shoved the bottle and the corks come off and we're all going, oh my God, this is like really exciting. And what I like to do is try and reframe past events in a positive sense in my mind, just for my own like mental clarity. And I feel like the fact that Everton didn't disappear when they could have done with the terrible leadership that we've had recently. Yeah. They didn't kill us. We didn't die. We're still here. We're back. We're here. We're staying. But also, we've had new money coming before, and we know what not to do, like more than anyone. We've wasted it more than anyone. And you would hope, I know a lot of different people are at the club now, but you would hope that experience resonates with the current owners, certainly with David Moyes, who spends the money like it's his own, and just means that we spend it like that geography teacher that you're talking about. I've never been excited about a hypothetical geography teacher leading our club. But
he said he might get a new pair of bootcut jeans and a jacket with patches on it.
Oh, you're talking.
Now we're talking big time.
This feels like an AI project just waiting for you, Ped.
No, but like, the thing about Moyes is, I think he's referenced it before, though, hasn't he? He's referenced it while he's been on, like, he's done TV at Goodison and stuff, and said about buying the players don't feel like Everton players. Like, he's often sort of looked over Everton while he wasn't the manager, and you could tell that he was like,
he was nonplussed.
He was disappointed rather than he was angry. He was like, this isn't what I left. This is I've and often we got I think a lot of us got berated for going back to the Moyes era, like when we've done shows and stuff, or just people talking in general. I think we've been berated lots of times of like, that shouldn't be your sort of what you measure Everton on, and that's right. Don't get me wrong. You should measure it. If you're going to measure it, you should measure it on obviously on Howard Kendall and his obviously his first spell at the club. But that's very hard to emulate in this day and age. And for a lot of us, David Moyes was the person who was at the club for, in our lives, the longest any manager's ever been at the club, and give us that stability and give us that week to week feeling of, we've got an opportunity to beat this team this week, and never give us and we never felt any sense of dread ever under him, really, other than the feeling that we mightn't win a trophy, or we mightn't go to Old Trafford and win, or we mightn't go to Anfield and win. And when you think about it now, they are really, really, in the place that we've been for the last 6 or 7 years, they are really, really small things now. So you can understand why we all feel that real sense of excitement of where we are right now, and we've been given that platform to move on. And you're getting we're getting a David Moyes who's got a lot more experience, obviously, and has come round in his career and understands what he needs to do. And and I think, obviously, we do know now about Kevin Felwell, that he's leaving at the end of this year. And there is a lot of talk, isn't there, about like what happens next? I mean, what do you think, Sam, in terms of like the Felwell situation and what happens next? There's like half the people I think are like, just give Moyes the control to do what he wants, and then there's another half going, hang on, it's still Everton, it's still football. We need to get a proper director of football in to control this situation. I mean, where do you fall in that, Sam?
It's really difficult to judge Thelwell on his performance, isn't it? Really, I think, because there's just been so many constraints and numerous managers that he's worked under. How many managers worked under Thelwell? Was it 3 or was it 2? Lampard. Steve Walsh was there.
He came in just after Lampard, didn't he?
So it was just 2 or 3, I suppose. Yeah. You can, the last 8 weeks with Moyes, but let's take that off the record books. But it's, he's had a lot of the PSR issues, that led to the points deduction, all of that sort of stuff. He's probably had his hands tied a little bit. I think if you look at some of the players he has brought in that perhaps haven't been used, Jacob Bryan's like the poster boy, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was obviously a really good bit of recruitment, because he's looked like a really, really solid player who's actually able to play in probably at least a couple of different positions. I love the way he goes forward as well. He's like this marauding 6'50" right winger, getting forward, and great to see him on the score sheet against Brentford. So he's a great example of someone who comes in, the manager doesn't play him, and we perhaps all sit around thinking, was that a bad buy? And it's actually, no, it was a really good buy. It was really bad management by the actual manager of the football team at the time. So at this point, I mean, Thelwell's going, so it's kind of it's a moot point whether he's done a good job or not. I think I'd probably give him like a 6.5, 7 out of 10 maybe, if I'm just pulling a figure out my bum. But which I mean, why wouldn't you do since I sat on a Star Wars box. But I think if Moyes is of the opinion that he wants to kind of have a closer guide and a closer steer on what we're bringing in, then at this point, I'm all for what he thinks is going to be the best for the football club, because I think he understands how he's going to work better. And that point I made earlier about the level of analysis on recruitment, and what was it, he used to have the no knobhead policy or whatever, where he'd like, it wasn't just about the playing side, it was about the personality and all the whole picture, which perhaps isn't always done. I think that's something that is really important. And ultimately, what we've seen in the past with Steve Walsh and then with Kevin Delwell, we've seen these kind of signings that haven't correlated with what the manager wants or will use on the pitch. So anything that we can do to remove that level of confusion between what is coming into the club and what is actually wearing the shirt on a Saturday, I think it's got to be a good thing. And if that means Moyes is the and obviously he'll have a team. It's not going to be him going around scouting everyone and seeing everyone, but overseeing that, who he's bringing in and where he feels like the need is, then I'm fine with that. And people might argue that that's not modern football. Well, there's space in the game for different models to work, and I think it's whatever's going to work with the personnel that you've got at the moment.
Yeah, do you know what's funny you say that, because I was watching the Madrid derby last night, and I was thinking the same thing of, like, I was looking at those two teams going, well, number one, Real Madrid, apparently they just have the president, a guy under the president, and then the manager, and that's it. That's basically how Real Madrid, the biggest club in the world, work. And I was thinking about Atletico Madrid as well. I was thinking, you've got Simeone there, who's the manager, who's been the manager for years, and could be compared in many ways to David Moyes in terms of, like, how he's built this club up. Of course, Madrid's a massive city. It's like the capital of the Spanish-speaking world. So it's not like we can almost look at them and go, well, we're just like Atletico Madrid. But in many ways, you can sort of say that. And the way they've traded the players has been really clever over the years. But you look at them and you think, I've never heard anyone talk about their, like, setup or their director of football. It's like Simeone just seems to have a real tight grasp of how they do things. Now, I'm sure they do have a director of football, and I'm sure he does work with them, but I think we have become obsessed in this country with letting the director of football be in charge of everything. But it's come to a point where when people say that, that's not actually factual either. So you've got like a Dan Ashworth situation where he's gone into Manchester United, and Man United didn't even know what kind of director of football they were getting. And Dan Ashworth would probably be perfect for Everton because he's a systems guy. He puts systems in place at the football club. He doesn't get involved in recruitment, which is what Man United thought. And there are different setups of having a director of football. And I just think that if we went down that path and actually Moyes sort of brought in a recruitment guy who he could trust, and then they work with the director of football, and the director of football puts a big setup in place, and I know Kevin Felwell was doing that at Everton, then no one's butting heads. It's not this mythical director of football that we all sort of were told was the way it happened. This is what happens in Europe. This guy finds the players, and then that guy. Well, hang on, the poster child for that system was Monchi and Emery, and that certainly doesn't. Villa, Emery's in charge of everything, but he has put Monchi in as director of football because he knows that he has got the trust and he'll find the players that he wants and he needs, and they'll obviously work together. So I think if Everton can still have the director of football in place, the director of football can set up the football club, the operations side of it, in a way that benefits Everton past David Moyes. Yeah. But the recruitment side of things is something that David Moyes and somebody else or some other people work towards bringing in the right people. And so if David Moyes decides to leave in, say, 2 summers' time, we're ready for the next thing. And it's always this thing of succession planning. Well, what if Everton's succession planning in the next couple of years is David Moyes lines up the next manager, and the next manager is a Leighton Baines or a Seamus Coleman, and we're still working off that plan, and that is our succession planning. I think it's just this idea of like the manager has a zero control is it's sort of run away with itself a little bit, and it's, as I said, the Manchester United as a football club got it completely wrong, and that's Manchester United. That's Manchester United,
and it's been great to see over there. It really has.
Yeah, but it is though, isn't it? It's just like get a plan that fits your club at that time moving forward, and I think, you know, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. David Moyes has proven at Everton that he understands recruitment really, really well, and knows what he wants. And if you work with him and he has people in the club that understand that, then that'll make Everton better. But it doesn't mean that it all stops with David Moyes the day David Moyes leaves. You have a person. You get a director of football who works to bring everything together behind the scenes, and you know that for me that would be like the perfect scenario.
Well, we had Alex Ferguson, 70, winning the Premier League. So just because David Moyes and he's only 61 or something, just because he's there, you can't just throw that experience away. It's about putting younger coaches around.
But isn't that? Do you not find? Sam, come in on this if you want. Alex Ferguson is sort of like shows you though that you have to have a director of football now, because actually he left Manchester United in a pretty poor state.
He did, yeah, but
no, and I'm just saying he was a genius.
Yeah, he was
but Manchester United couldn't see past him.
No.
So and had left Man United. Man United's still suffering because actually they didn't have the foresight to put someone in at the same time to take Manchester United past Alex Ferguson. And let's be honest, the day Ferguson left, the whole thing just fell to bits.
Yeah, well, I think any structure in any business has to be managed in a way that it doesn't really matter what the structure is, as long as it works for that particular business model, whatever that is. But then, if one individual is they are the Jenga block that makes everything fall down, then you've either got to replace that person like for like as the day they leave, or you've got to have a system that allows for that to be, there's a little bit of wriggle room in that as well. Because when we had, everyone's been obsessed with like director of football, director of recruitment, who it is, are they doing a good job? But then you go back to just before Sean Dyche came in, and it was a toss-up between Dyche and Bielsa. And you're looking at these two completely different realities. Well, how can anyone who's trying to recruit players be recruiting long-term for a club that's going to go either left or right in such a dramatic sense? So it's almost like the doesn't really matter what the system is, as long as it works for the personnel that are there and the club that are there. And then that Alex Ferguson, because Man U have never recovered from that, and it's really we were all watching David Moyes at Man U very closely, because obviously it was his first job after Everton. Well, it was almost like looking back, he actually did quite a good job, I think, if we look at like how Man U have fallen since then.
Yeah,
because Man U have never really recovered, have they, from Ferguson leaving?
They've never recovered, and it's I think Moyes got them the furthest in the Champions League they've ever gone as well. Since then, it's just because none of them no one could ever live up to. I suppose it happened to Liverpool as well, didn't it? When Liverpool, when Dalglish left and Souness came in, same thing happened. You tear something, someone comes in and it's either gets teared down like Liverpool did, or you haven't got the magic of that one person. And in many ways, we had the same thing when Moyes has left. No one's ever been able to recreate. And obviously, we've gone through different scenarios, and let's see where this one takes us. But as it stands, I'm quite enjoying it.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see where the journey goes. That's the exciting thing. What happens now? We've seen with these players how much he's improved them, how much he's improved the team. So where can the journey go? That's what you're looking forward to. And we've been given a great thing this season that he's took off. They've removed that pressure already away from it, so that you can enjoy. We've got 5 games left at Goodison Park, and you can enjoy them 5 games. And like you said before, 12 games to go, isn't it? It's 11 games to go. Everton could easily win a third of 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But certainly 4 games Everton could easily win out of that 11, and then who knows what happens there. Sam, obviously Wolves away at the weekend. They're below Everton. And obviously got Matthias Cunha sent off at the weekend for having, he had a bit of everything, I think, didn't he? Headbutt, through a dig, shove. There was all sorts going on. And he's on the 4-game ban or
It was
whatever.
like a banquet of a red card, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was just seeing whatever.
Or
He
all
kicked
you
out
can
as
eat.
well.
Do you
Just
know all
done
you can
everything.
eat of a red card?
Done everything he did, trying to make sure he
It
got
was,
the
it was like one of those treasure hunts where you got to do a little bit of everything. You tick
Yeah.
it off on to get the stamp. Or was he trying to emulate John Cena, just kicking off? And
I think it's too soon to talk about John Cena.
Sorry.
It's too soon. Can't. No, too soon.
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tough watch.
You know, between that, I mean, that happened and with Trump and the Cena thing was worse.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, the
I feel
Cena thing
more
was shocking.
violated.
The Trump one wasn't shocking. The Cena one was like, oh, come on, you've let me down here.
To be fair, though, I couldn't see it coming.
But so yeah, Wolves away, Sam. Obviously, slightly easier because Cunha is not there because he is their best player by some distance, and it gives Everton an opportunity to put those 2 games to bed, the 2 draws which they should have won. Wolves obviously went out the FA Cup on penalties at the weekend at Bournemouth, who beat us. So hopefully Bournemouth will win the FA Cup and we can have lost to the winners. But yeah, it gives us an opportunity, doesn't it? Going to Molyneux, stupid time, 8 o'clock on a Saturday night.
That is the worst time.
That's terrible.
Oh,
It's terrible.
You can't even you can't even watch whatever Michael
Singer,
McIntyre's doing.
Yeah, I know.
Do you want to watch that?
No, I'm just saying.
But you just said you couldn't.
You just couldn't if you wanted to. You know, the weakest link probably is on, I imagine, somewhere. Probably Gold.
At that time, no.
And then Casualties on it, 9:15.
That's
Is
your
Casualty
big thing.
still on?
Casualty's great, mate.
Myself,
Casualty's
still on,
fantastic.
No.
Don't
Charlie,
diss
the
Casualty.
boss is-
can't
still in
believe it's still going. If Charlie's still in it, then I'm
No, Charlie left earlier this year.
I'm gonna
He
say.
left. He left. He
Wasn't Brenda Fricker in Casualty all those years ago?
She
And the
was.
next minute she was in
Home Alone 2.
in the
Oh, yeah.
playing Piers Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was, yeah. Lots of people have been in Casualty that now
I
are
think
like
everyone's been in Casualty. Everyone's been in Casualty or the Bill. I think I was in the Bill once by accident.
Doctors.
Just
By
walking
accident.
past.
Yeah.
Everyone was in it. Doctors, yeah, that's what
I'm watching. I'm watching Thingo. What's it called? White Orc. What's it called?
White Lotus.
White Lotus. Orchid.
spoil
Whatever.
it.
I'm not going to spoil. But there's a girl in it, and she's from Manchester.
She was in Casualty.
And she's in. She was probably in it, but she's in that other thing with David Morrissey, which is like a BBC 3 comedy, which doesn't look funny. I was like, how did you get from that to that quickly?
I think it's just auditions.
Possibly
You get the
so.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, it's because she reckons it's because her teeth make her look so British that she was a standout for the part.
Wow.
She's got like proper pronounced bunny teeth. And
Family
she said,
Guy teeth.
yeah, they are. They're like
British
Family
teeth.
Nigel
Yeah.
Dingo's teeth.
Yeah.
And she said she can't get any part as an American because no Americans have teeth
Nigel
like that.
Lithgow.
No, there's a character. There's a character. There's a character in Family Guy though, isn't it? Who's called Nigel. And he's like British and he's got big teeth.
big teeth.
He's going, oh, you're
Whenever
so
I'm watching
delicious.
something, whenever I'm watching something and an actor comes on and my wife recognises them, she goes, "He's been in something else." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
they
mate, I'm
tend to
terrible
do
for
that.
that. I am
They
literally-
work in other."
I've got IMDb like literally open all the time, just going, "Oh, she was in Tingo
And
with
it's horrible
Tingo."
because you can't settle till you've...
No, you gotta know.
That was it.
Yeah,
You're
gotta
all
know.
right then. No.
You need
Gotta
to
know straight away, and that's what Casualty's great for because it all goes back to Casualties. It's like 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Casualty. It all goes back to Casualty. All doctors. And ironically, my mate used to write Doctors as well, so he's the cause of it all. So there you
Is
go.
Doctor still on?
No, it's finished now. Sadly,
It's finished. Right.
yeah, it's gone. It's gone. You know, you can't get an appointment. So what's the point in having it on telly?
I mean, this
No,
is it.
just be the phone line, just waiting. People trying to get off.
It's called. They rebooted it. It's called 111 now.
It's just a quiz show.
Yeah, 111 and the
Are
chemist.
you bleeding out your ears?
But you're not going to be able to watch that Saturday night because Everton are that Wolves.
We are. We
So,
digressed.
There you go.
Go on.
So it's an opportunity, Sam, isn't it, for Everton to get back to winning ways?
It is.
Albeit it'll be a tough game.
It is, but I've started saying that thing again, which we all say as football fans, regardless of the team you support. Come on, Everton, let's go and batter them. Let's go and batter them. And I'm not saying we're going to batter them. I don't deep down think we will batter them. I think we've got a good chance of getting 3 points. But it's that like blind optimism that I'd forgotten what it feels like to have this ridiculous. Come on, let's just get out there and give them a good game because. It's been horrible the last few years. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a terrible kickoff time. Remember in COVID when they were putting games on at like 25-6 and stuff?
Yeah.
It was dead weird, wasn't it? And at the time I was like, well, this is quite nice, but that's because it was the middle of COVID. It's not COVID anymore. Play it. Play at the time the football's supposed to be at. It's ridiculous.
It is. It's just I don't understand who thought it was a good idea though. I don't. And we obviously we have weekday games that kick off at like 8 o'clock, but even them are getting like less and less. They're becoming more like 7:30 now, and I just don't understand who thinks this. It smacks of like someone's got a TV slot and they can't use it for another time, so they go, when can we? Well, there's a R5 game on, so when can we put it on? It has to be after R5, and it obviously for it. Everton and Wolves fans alike, it's just so bad. It's really bad.
The game's gone. The game's gone. Although I've been thinking about that phrase, the game's gone. And like, do you think in like the 1930s, people were like, the game's gone when the offside rule came in, or whatever, or they started using nets. The game's gone. Whatever the names were back then. But yeah, I don't know. I think we've got a good chance of winning. Of those games you outlined that we could win, 4 or 5 bars, I think this is one of the ones we should be looking at. They're way below us. They've been fits and starts Wolves, but they're not a great team. And Cunha, I can never pronounce his name correctly, so apologies for that. But he's definitely their best player, and he'll be. Yeah. I was going to say he'll be watching from the stands, but I'm sure he'll be at home watching Casualty.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you be?
He'll have Casualty on.
He might be on it this week.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Probably ate his fists punching all them players last week.
That's it. Just opens up with a load of Bournemouth players sitting in triage.
What happened? You've been Cuna'd.
You've been Cuna'd, son. And then in the next bed, someone else got a cut in his head and said, "What happened to you?" And Millwall goalie, mate. Do you know last night the Millwall fans did an applause on the 9th minute for the goalie?
For the goalie?
The goalie who kicked someone in the head to the point that they had to have something like 30-odd stitches in their head and go to hospital. And they did an applause on the 9th minute because that's when he got sent off again. What kind of horrible bastards? What horrible bastards do that, though?
Don't they sing "Everyone Hates Us" and we don't care? But like they do care because they like it, because that's all they've got, that everyone hates them. And I don't hate them. I pity them. I pity the fool.
I just think they're mad.
That's just
they're mad.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So there you go. Can Everton go to Molineux and win? Of course we can. Will we? That's what we're all looking for. And hopefully, the little break in the sun on the back. And hopefully we'll have a couple of people back as well. Will give us that little bit extra and get back to winning ways, and it'd be great, wouldn't it?
Tremendous.
Because then West Ham at home, you're looking at that thinking, yeah, fancy that as well.
Bounce into that game, don't we?
The Moyes
bounce
derby,
into that game.
The Pereira derby at the weekend, and the Moyes derby at Goodison, and then we can go into the real derby.
Yeah,
on a great run of form.
Oh, yeah.
And go into their backyard and have them off.
Yeah,
I don't know whether we will, but
let's not think about that.
We don't have to think about that.
No, that's ages away. That's in April.
That is.
April. There's an April Fool's Day before that. Let's get cracking on that one first.
Let's get through April Fools first.
That's the one. That's what they always say.
That's what they always say. Well, it's Lent as well. Baz has got to get through Lent.
It's Lent now. It's Lent.
What are you giving up, Baz?
Chocolate is
nice one.
Gone. Chocolate is no more.
But you don't strike me as someone who eats a lot of chocolate day to day anyway.
No, not in the night. I have a little chocolate bar in the night.
3 o'clock in the morning.
No.
I'm a secret dairy milk eater.
No. Nothing. No food after 10 o'clock.
This guy's a fucking gremlin.
No food after 10. No food after 10 and before, I don't know, 3 o'clock maybe or 2. But certainly that. But I do like my chocolate. That is a weakness. Therefore, it has been given up.
Okay.
Given up, no sweets. James, I'm looking at you, giving it your
My mate gave up Carlsberg one year for Lent, and he's
probably the best Lent ever.
But yeah, possibly.
Yeah. Carlsberg did Lent.
Yeah, but it's not even a nice drink, is it? So
no.
Yeah, choose your. What's the word for when you give something up? What's that word? Anyway, choose that carefully is what.
Your penance. I don't know.
That's it. Is it penance? Well, Jermaine penance?
Jermaine. Choose your Jermaine carefully. I mean, ironically, he didn't choose his alcohol carefully, did he? And he had a few brushes with the law, didn't he? Left cars in.
I thought we were talking about Jermaine Jennings then.
No, not Jermaine Jennings.
Because basically,
he's probably given up WhatsApp texting, maybe.
No, he hasn't. I don't. Definitely hasn't.
No, maybe. Was it just that one show that he got done for?
Just that one show? I don't know.
I mean, I'm giving you lots of material here, Sam. You're not even listening. Have you got any random stuff you want to chat about, Sam? Because it's random stuff is the best stuff, I think.
I have, yeah. I've got a question for you both. Me
Oh,
and my wife have got a very happy marriage, and I think one of the reasons that it's
Good.
happy is that we communicate a lot.
okay.
Which remains
and
important.
sometimes that's at loud volume, but it's not shouting. It's just heated discussion.
Yeah, that's what I always say.
But in the middle of the street after 8 cans of Stella. But we in fact, it was her who cultivated this, but I think it's a really good marital aid. So she said to me the other day, I don't mean to nag, I'm just flagging. So then we came up with the flag, not nag. So, you know, when you keep repeated offending something in the house, she says to me now, it's a flag, not a nag, but can you stop teabagging the sink? She didn't say it like that. I was leaving tea bags in the sink.
Oh, okay.
So obviously the verb teabagging comes in.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I'll be honest, I thought you had a Spanish nanny called The Sink.
MySpanishNanny.com. I think I've visited that website. So I just wanted to ask you if there's any repeated kind of domestic crimes that you've been pulled up on by your partner, or that you've had to pull them up on, and has it actually resolved, or has the crimes continued?
Oh my God, I don't even know if I can start on this.
For you, though?
No, not for me. I'm absolutely perfect.
It's having,
No, I am probably the closest you can get to perfection.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
How come it doesn't apply in here then?
Well, name one thing in here.
You know when you like make your coffee, see that cup that's on the coffee machine?
Yeah.
You will leave that until I
But
watch.
that's 100% though.
Why?
So it's a consistent thing.
Yeah, but that's...
You know that
But
cup...
I've told you about it.
You know that cup,
Money.
but you know that cup's not moving.
I'm
so
just
therefore,
flagging, not nagging, Sam.
So therefore...
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
simply
flag.
flagging, not nagging.
But from my point of view, though, right, that cup gets washed and put back.
By
therefore,
me.
from my point of view, it works. I leave it there, someone washes it, it goes back. Anyway, you're deflecting.
I'm flagging, not
Yeah, I mean, my missus has got ADHD, so it's everything. There's so many things that are not almost out of her control, are out of her control, but just like so I don't know if your missus do this. It's just a general thing, but my missus, you know, when you have a conversation like 4 hours before, and then you're just sitting there watching something, and then just a sort of it gets brought back up again, but without any warning, or any pretext or anything. It's just like it just gets brought back up again, like
continues, like it never stops.
And then you'll go, and yeah. So that's why that's such a bad. And you're like, what? Where did that come from? What are you talking about?
It's like someone pressed pause on the conversation, and then 4 hours later press play, and you're like, hang on, where's the context? Yeah, I get that.
So I go, what are you talking about? And then it's like, no, we were talking about that 4 hours ago. What are you talking about? So that's one thing. Another thing is, and again, this is because she has got ADHD. She's just watching something on the telly, and she'll be on her phone, and she's really bad for her phone, and I have to tell her loads. And it is because of ADHD. And she'll just be on her phone, and you're trying to watch something, and she just picks up her phone because of her concentration, and then she's doing the scrolling, and the fucking volume's on full. And you're like, and I have to just grab the phone off her and go, no, we're watching something, and you've got this song or this clever video on full blast, and I'm trying to watch this thing. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Do you know what, though, Ped? I'm interested in your idea of you being so close to perfection. I'm not disputing that, but I'd just be interested to delve into what you feel, like what you put all your dirty washing away. Are you good at like hanging the washing out? Are you like
no, but I'm
consistent.
But what I am
consistent.
He doesn't do any of it, Sam.
I'm
but he never does any of it, so we can't be pulled.
So therefore, I can't be pulled up on it because I am consistent on all those things I do. I never do the washing. I never do the cleaning. I never do doing the dishes. I never do anything.
Why are you saying it proudly, though?
Because I am proud of it. I'm very proud of it. I'm proud that I am consistent. There's no need for rotas. There's no need for anything. In my house, I don't do any of those things, and that's what everybody knows, so no one gets confused about it. And I find that perfection. If anyone needs a lift anywhere, I'm the only one who can drive. So therefore, I drive my wife anywhere she needs to go. That's the flip side of it. That's the flip side of it.
So that's your contribution.
That's my contribution. So now if we're driving to Scotland or to Wales or God knows where else, I do all the driving. That's my thing. That's a consistent. I can't ever turn around and go, why don't you pass your fucking driving test? It's not.
Then that
happen.
brings up another kind of subtopic to this, which is: are all domestic jobs created equal? Like, are they all valued the same? Or because driving, if you're with your partner driving to Scotland, that sounds like quite a nice thing to do. Put a few tunes on, just quiet roads when you get on the M6 past Carlisle, and you're like, this is nice. Whereas, I suppose I tried to make the point to my wife sometimes. Well, I put the bins out, but as regular viewers will know, I don't. Yeah. So I can't even rest on that laudable. Putting the bins out is not the same as changing the duvet, is it?
No.
Putting a new one on.
Also, by the way, let me just throw this in.
I hate the bins.
Because my missus has got ADHD, if she ever asks me to do something and it's not done in 4 seconds, then she does it.
I'll be honest.
No, that's
you
honestly...
sound like Zach. You do. If, we ask Zach to do something and he doesn't do it, he would say that you've only just asked me.
No, literally, though.
I asked you an hour ago.
No, honestly.
Literally take your shin pads off the footy. And your socks.
I never ask me missus to take her shin pads off. That's just a golden rule.
I'm talking about.
If she says, do this thing, if it's not done in 5 seconds, honestly, then she does it automatically.
But that's just, I'll be honest, right? As an observer here.
You can't be an observer in my house.
No, and what you're telling me, you're just giving me the information. It feels like you are. I don't know how to say this in a way.
Whatever you say in the next 5 seconds is wrong.
Wait 6 seconds, Baz. I think
I'm up to 8 seconds there. Well, it just sounds a little bit childish.
No, it's not childish.
I'm not going to do that because I know she'll do it in a minute.
No, there's never that. It's not that. It doesn't. That's not. That's not factually correct, right? So see, she walks in and says, "I'm making the tea.
Yeah.
Can you go and get us some drinks?" Yeah. Right. So I'm going to get some drinks, but I know tea's not going to be ready for 10 minutes, right? So I know she's not coming back into the room for another 10 minutes. Right. So if I don't get up within the first 30 seconds, she goes and makes those drinks, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
In a shin pad.
Why couldn't you just wait? So that's I can hear her go in because I can hear the studs on the tiles. And I'm just like, why can't you? And she can't because she's got ADHD. And I'm not talking out of school here. She generally has been diagnosed, and it's just part of the makeup of it. But it is one of those things, and it's like it is. And by the way, I do make the tea most nights, by the way, as well.
No, I'm not saying.
And I do all the driving. And part of doing all the driving is I pay for all the things for the car as well. So there's a financial burden. Yeah. Much more. Don't know if you've checked fuel recently, but it costs a lot more money than washing up liquid.
And have you ever tried to fill your car up with fairy liquids? It's a nightmare.
Hey, mate, when I was on the taxis, I'd fill it up with anything to get an extra few miles. I'm telling you now.
False economy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where to go with that.
What was the question?
I don't know what the question was.
Really. I suppose I was just trying to figure out what sort of domestic communication people are employing.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, right? I do, like, I will do everything now. Not my missus does everything, but I mean, there's no job that I think I'm not doing that. You know what I mean?
No job too big.
Yeah, no, it's not quite that. I'll do stuff, but things like I'll put the washing on, like a wash on, and go to work, and I'll come home and it'll be
still in the washing machine.
Go, you haven't on? I go, oh yeah, I'll go and hang it. I have to go and hang it up and stuff. So I'm not great at that, but I will do that. I will do. There's nothing I won't like sort of do. Clean up, do all the surfaces.
You sound like Meatloaf.
No, exactly. But I'll do anything, but I won't do that. The bins, I do the bin, but I hate the bin.
When you
can't believe no one's hasn't invented a bin that just smells boss. I can't believe it. I need to.
Wouldn't that put the people who spray your bin out of business?
No, that's not them.
Yeah, as we all know, they rule the world, don't they?
James can't even join in this because he hasn't got a bin.
Let me ask you a question.
Or out the house.
Do you have one bin in your one bin, or do you have like a recyclable bin in your house as well?
Not in the house. I'll take it to the recycling.
We've got a 3-bin unit.
Yeah, we've got a main bin, and we've got a bin for the recycling, so that you can put that stuff straight into the recycle bin.
We do that, but it's called just walking outside.
Well, I mean, you might want to invest in this.
No,
this is the future.
It's not a problem. Not a problem because it gets you extra steps. I've no issue with it.
No. You still have to put it in the bin.
No, I know. But if I was,
so how do you? Hang on. How do you then? No, well, if you put stuff in the bin that's recyclable,
I don't do I?
Okay, so you just put stuff straight into the recycle bin.
Yeah.
That sounds a waste of time.
That sounds like a nightmare because I eat those little boxes of raisins from Aldi, the little fruits for babies. I eat them. And I go,
you put the recycling in, carry it out to the bin.
To be fair though, you live in a gated community. I live in a. Hang on. Sorry.
I mean, I don't. No, hang on, carry on.
I live in an area where on Monday I took my dog for a walk, and when I came, this is 7:15, and when I came back, the car next to my car, someone had walked past and ripped both license plates off.
Wow.
Genuinely, this happened on Monday. Someone ripped the front license plate off and the back license plate off. Oh. And the fella was walking down the street, and the fella didn't even live there. He was visiting his sister, and he was walking down the street to ask people who had Ring doorbells if they'd seen it.
Oh my God.
And I noticed it because when I went out, I noticed the car weirdly had license plates, and when I come back, that's weird that car does not have license plates. So that's the kind of area I live in.
It's just going past and thought, I'm gonna rob something and I need some license plates.
But he left the license plates on the roof.
So they weren't even using them for anything?
Yeah.
I had mine robbed once, but I think they were stuck on another car and used as some kind of,
No, but that's what they did. Like,
everyone says that, Sam. Yeah. Everyone says that. Let's be honest. You took 20 quid out the Morrison petrol station and you didn't want to tell anyone.
That's it. It was an elaborate sting operation.
Or maybe your missus did. And
no, it is mad. It's a bit of a mad situation. But no, the recycling go straight in the recycling bin.
Well, our recycling bin, because it's got 3 bins, and in each section of the bin, you've got the main rubbish, non-recyclable. Then you've got your recyclable. Then you've got your garden waste, where they throw peels and stuff in there. And then they've all got a foot pedal to open.
Yeah.
Nice. You've got these 3 things that open. So after dinner in our house, it's like guacamole because you've got the 2 kids trying to scrape the plate.
Guacamole? Is that what you've had for your dinner?
No, we're not.
Guacamole.
Guacamole. Oh, is that what you... Have I pronounced it wrong? Yeah, guacamole.
Well, you said guacamole, but that's fine. Yeah. I knew what you meant.
I meant that, that
sounds like you're making dip out of gerbils.
Yeah, that's how, it's there. Fused it together. Gerbled it.
Never rule anything out. All ideas are valid.
Exactly, always.
So I'm pressing the pedals, the things are open and the other ones are open, and the 2 lads are just because they're trying to get them to scrape the food into the right bins, but of course they're getting it wrong because they're only 9 and they're just going everywhere, and my wife's there and I'm there, and it's kind of a chaotic scene. But that bin, I'll let you know when I finally clean behind it, because in fact that's one of the few jobs, because I think this is a male thing. I think there are jobs in a house that women do that men don't even know are jobs.
Yeah.
Like rinsing behind the bin, I have never done. And I've only just thought of it as a job then. I bet it's disgusting. I'm going to check as soon as we stop recording, and I'm going to see what kind of state that is in.
I tell you what, some jobs people do, and there's another one for you, going in the loft. Always go, my missus will not go in the loft. So she wants all this stuff in the loft. Who has to go up there? Who has to traverse that ladder and get in there and sort all that out? Me, I'm a fucking hero.
Does your missus go on any podcast and talk about all the things she does to keep your house going?
How short would that podcast be? It'd be ridiculously short. There'd be no point in it. Going in the loft, driving around, I'm basically deserving of an MBE. That's all I'm saying. If the Queen doesn't recognise it,
well, she's dead, so she'd be difficult.
Yeah, she should have recognised about she was alive then, shouldn't she?
But Charles might recognise it. King Charles, you never know.
Can't see it. He's too busy.
Getting in the loft once every 6 weeks. Please put your hands together. He's a hero in everyone's eyes.
I'm telling you, honestly.
These are award-worthy jobs.
that I feel like we are getting left behind on, personally.
Okay.
All these, oh yeah, got a lollipop and I cross these kids over the road. Fuck off. That's what traffic lights are for. Getting into the loft is a real job. It's a real job. Who knows what's up there? Every time I go up there,
organised.
Well, I mean, you know, I
found a deserted wasp's nest.
Exactly.
In our loft.
Deserted wasp's nest.
Deserted.
So they've been there for a bit and just got off. Sam never comes up here. There's no point.
They were feeling
no one's
lonely.
a sting.
Just like, what's the point up here?
It's like, have you seen the picture of that Goodison pigeon that died inside the main stand and it's just rotted and there's just a skeleton of a pigeon there?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. It was just this like, there was so much hope that had been dashed, and my mind wandered to what these wasps had actually accomplished and whether they'd died happy. Who knows? We'll never know.
We never know. It's a story that only nature can tell, and we're not watching.
And we aren't.
We aren't watching.
No.
And I suppose I'll get the blame for that as well.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's blaming you. We're just saying. We just question.
Also, another job, and again, I think deserves of an award. Changing the batteries in the telly box. Again,
I mean, you've said it wrong because it's not a box.
Again, it is a box.
It's not a. Why is it a box?
It's always been a box.
The remote control.
Yeah, the remote control.
A box.
You mean the diddly doo-dah? That's what we call it.
Yeah, the diddly.
A box, Sam.
The box. It's always been the box. It's a box shape. It's a box. Who cares? Remote control. Changing the batteries in that is one of the most important jobs any human being will have, because the chaos that causes when you can't turn over the telly is astronomical.
I think we all changed.
Sky used to have, on Sky's app, you used to be able to turn over via the app, and he took that away. But I think that what they were doing is they wanted men to feel like men again.
Oh, okay.
I think they wanted men to feel like men again and to be able to change those batteries. And when they changed those batteries, it was like, you know...
Yeah, but you ever bleed the radiator? Because that's one of the most manly jobs.
What's a radiator?
I've never done that.
You've never. Have you got a radiator key?
I think I have in that box.
You've got it, Sam. It's the most manly tool you can.
I've got it in all the old iPod leads that aren't compatible with anything anymore.
Yeah.
Who throws leads out? You keep them in case it all comes back around again.
Yeah.
Exactly, mate.
Get the radiator key and bleed let the air out the radiator. Just there.
Also,
it's the most manly thing.
And I'll tell you another manly job I did. Just again, if we're just talking on this, I was the soft get who had to go in the yard, put the traps down for the rats.
Oh no.
And then when the rats were caught and their heads were all squished in the things, I had to put the rats in the bin.
No, that's fair. I mean, to be fair.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
she wasn't doing that, was she?
I wouldn't be doing.
I had to destroy the shed in the yard because she thought the rats were living in the shed, even though I told her they weren't living in the shed. And yeah, I destroyed the whole shed. And guess what? There was no rats living in the shed. Of course, there wasn't, because I told her there wasn't. But I had to destroy the shed. And then I had to take the shed, which was all metal and had all bits of edges, which probably could have given me rabies. And I had to take them the fucking tip, which I found a pleasurable experience. I won't get wrong, because it was going the tip. But I had to do that as well. And
last week, did I tell this story last week about the tip? Sorry, we'll finish this. You've just tipped me over the head.
Yeah.
I went to tip last week, right? And I went to tip at 4:45, shut to 5, right? No, it was intentional. We've done stuff like, but Liverpool played Man City, weren't they? At that.
Okay, this feels like a weird segue, but go with it.
Liverpool were playing City at 4:30. It was the week before, so Sunday.
It's on a Sunday.
Yeah. So I thought I'd go tip at 4:45.
Yeah.
So that's like to play.
Yeah.
Sound. All car loaded up. Got to the tip. Sound. Only about 3 cars there. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Doing a thing. So I'm there and I just start unloading. And then I hear, get in!
Yeah.
A lad running up and down by his car.
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
well,
I hope he's an Evertonian who's massively bitter and Kevin De Bruyne's just scored, right? So I got my phone out.
Yeah, Liverpool
and
scored.
I looked and Salah had scored. So I turned round and I just looked at him. And I shouldn't have. I just looked at him, like shook my head, looked at the phone, looked back at him. And I'm thinking, why are you in the tip, right? At 4:45 when Liverpool are on everywhere, playing Man City. You've had the whole day to go to the tip, and you've thought, I'll go while the match is on.
Maybe
and
it's a superstitious thing.
Instead of just going, yes, get it, we're winning. But he's ran around the thing like an absolute arse clown, celebrating a goal just to let people know that he's a Liverpool.
But I find that,
it's
right,
weird.
I don't know about you, Sam, I find that to be one of the most satisfying things in life, though.
Going to tips are amazing.
No, not going to tip. I find one of the most satisfying things in life is being somewhere when Liverpool are playing and seeing a Liverpool fan looking at his phone or not even. So I remember going to Croxteth Park and Liverpool were playing in the FA Cup final and seeing people walking through the park. I remember going to Trafford Centre when Liverpool were in the European Cup final, Champions League final. When they were physically playing, I'd gone there to get away from them and seeing people walking around the Trafford Centre while they were playing in Liverpool shirt. And I just sniggered at them. I just literally laughed at them. I thought, how can this be a real scenario? And that, to me, is one of... I'd have just stopped and laughed at them and gone, this proves everything in life that we are correct in the choice that was bestowed on us.
Yeah.
I find that nothing. There's nothing great. They could win a trophy, and the fella could be there pumping his fist, and I'm thinking, you're in the fucking tip, mate.
Yeah, I just didn't get it.
It's boss.
I didn't get it.
Whereas, we're all like locked in our living room with the curtains just behind the sofa watching that second Bournemouth game under Lampard where we lost again. Like, oh God, because we just got to witness it.
But we're watching pre-season games behind the couch.
I just thought if you go for whatever reason, might have been so nervous he couldn't watch it. Just give it a little get in. Didn't have to tell everybody he's a Liverpool
They do
fan.
though.
It just looked so pathetic. I was just
or
thinking.
Throw the item that you're throwing in a joyful, jubilant way.
In a joyful way, yeah. I mean, I was throwing mine a joyful way because there's no better feeling when you drive out that tip and the stuff's gone.
No, there is.
There's a lightness and an airiness.
There is a better feeling. The better feeling is...
Harlem would have just got through on me way out.
The better feeling is when you go in the tip and you throw the stuff in the wrong thing.
No.
Oh, there's no better feeling. You have a quick check.
Not as a good human here.
You have a quick... No, but sometimes the thing you've got doesn't fall within the thing that you want.
I don't think you're reading the signs.
No, I am. Or there might be someone parked in. You're like, this is really heavy.
So what? Carry it.
It might be really heavy.
You're coming across.
That's me missus's job.
You're going to get banned from tips here.
Do us a favour, love. This is not all that old cement.
This is where them number plates have gone, Sam. That he robbed. He puts them on his car to go to skip and throw things in the wrong bits. That's the wrong thing. Psych. Anyway, let's leave it there for Ped. Reveals even more things.
Exposes myself. What are you talking about?
I was going to say reveals, but fair play.
Can I plug me tour, lads, please?
You do it. Plug away,
You
Sam.
shouldn't even have to ask.
Plug away.
So I'm going to go on tour from September through to February. And it's called Thunderstorm. All venues around the UK. Go on my website, samaverycomedy.com, and you can find all the dates. I've also put some preview shows in, which are extra cheap tickets, because the show won't be funny at that point. So if you want to come and watch me try some jokes out, if that's your thing, if you like to watch grown men struggle, if you're watching this, you're an Everton fan, so probably that's part of your makeup, then come to one of the preview shows. Otherwise, the show, the tour proper starts in September.
Brilliant. Do it. Get out and go and check Sam. Thunderstorm, Sam Avery's tour. The link will be in the description to his website below. Go on there and get the tickets. Right, big thanks to Sam. We'll be back next week when hopefully...
There was no game, and this is like the longest one I've ever done.
I know.
Tremendous.
There you go. You just never know. You never know what you're going to get, very much like Forrest Gump. And on that note, I'm legging it. See you later. Bye.